A very good afternoon to everyone, and welcome to our webinar, Transferable Skills in the Hospital Industry. I'm Dinah, and I will be your host for today's webinar. Despite today is 12/12, instead of going shopping or having a good brunch with your friends, you are with us to join on this successful or enjoyable webinar we have for today. Thank you so much for taking your time. The objective of today's webinar is to see how important the transferable skills such as adaptability and be open mind during the crucial times to survive in the hospital industry. Before we kickstart off in any event, we have some basic rules. Please ensure that your video and mic is working well, and please be mute on all times. This will be an outline of the webinar for today. Could we have the share screen, please? So we will have our President, Nirmal, to give a welcome address, followed by our guest speaker, Ms. Rasida from WSG and Ms. Ang Sing Sing from the RP Career Center. And we also have our RP alumni, Darren and Tina, during the panel discussion. Without further ado, let me call upon my co-host, who's also the club president of RP Alumni Community, Ms. Nirmal. Ms. Nirmal, over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Dinah, for the short introduction. Before we get started, I would just like to express my sincere appreciation to those who have been involved in making this event a successful one. We couldn't have done it without you. And I also like to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for being here with us this afternoon. We're very pleased to have many RP alumni and current students supporting us as well. So for today's event, Transferable Skills in Hospitality Industry, we'll be covering following areas. So we'll be covering job landscapes and the services, skills known and to show them. And we'll also have a panel discussion on transferable skills. Since I'm also the co-host for today, without further ado, I would like to introduce our first guest speaker from the Workforce Singapore, Ms. Rasida. Just a short introduction about her. She has 13 years of experience in career coaching, and she's currently part of the Stakeholder Engagement Unit in WSG as well. So her role is to bring together job seekers and employers by bridging the gap and helping individual job seekers into a fulfilling career. Without further ado, Ms. Rasida, please.
Thank you, Nirmal. Very good afternoon to every one of you who are now spending, like what Diana said, spending your 12 shopping hours with us. So it's really a great honor to be welcome to the team here to be sharing with you. Give me a moment, let me share my screen up, and then we'll go through what we'll be sharing today. Just a short moment. I hope everybody have your lunch and everyone is in a good mood today. Okay, let's make it as light-hearted as possible. And I think Diana and Nima have also arranged some chat session with us. So we'll be more in chat later. So let's share a little bit about myself. Nima mentioned about myself in WSG. That's true. I'm like 13 years in serving in WSG, hopping around, knowing people, getting to know people. So basically what I do is I work with the job seekers and the employers and to put them into the right spot, putting everybody into a fulfilling career ahead. Let me share a little bit more. Just bear with me. Don't fall asleep. If you do, take a drink, take a walk, everything will be just well. So a little bit about us. We'll do a little bit of introduction of who WSG is, our career matching services at Careers Connect, how we support our clients who we would call it our job seekers, what programs can you read from WSG, what are our online resources, our job seeker stories, how you can access to our service, and of course, today's topic is on the overview of the hospitality landscape. I'll touch about that in a short moment. So let's go through the basics about us. So if you know us, we are actually a statutory board. So in a way, we are the Chenghu government body under Ministry of Manpower. But we don't look that fierce. You see all of us having very smiley face if you come to see us, although we are the Ministry of Manpower, or we call ourselves from MUM. Basically what we do, we provide career services to our local job seekers, which means Singaporeans and PRs only. And we also provide programs, job and salary skills support to the job seekers itself. But we not only serve the job seekers, we have the other side as well. This is serving our employers. So what we do is we help the employers by helping the enterprise to innovate and to be manpower lean. So which means that we help them in job resources to providing what are the available avenues that they can transformation and so on and so forth. So it's in the hope that we develop quality jobs and good careers for our people. So we are very citizen people, and we are all here for each other. And as well, that as much as the pandemic is, the more we have to be together. So I do not know whether all of you find me familiar. I'm actually in Stand By Me video. I do the dance, I do the sing song, I'm everywhere. So after this, you can Google me and find out who in the world is this Rasida, man. So we go through as what I shared, Ministry of Manpower, and then we have WSG, and then you come to think about my back screen. I have WSG, I have Careers Connect. Who am I? Am I confused or what? Not really. So we share with you, Careers Connect is by WSG, and we are part of Ministry of Manpower. Share a little bit more from here. At Careers Connect, we do the career matching services. So which means we are the job seekers fronting as well. People who are out there to look out for employment. People like yourself and myself who one day we might want to look out for employment. So what we do is where the careers aspirations and the hiring needs connect. WSG in Careers Connect, we help more job seekers to find work through improved career matching services for the job seekers and employers. A mouthful, but let me go through the slide and then you'll get a better idea of what we're doing. Okay. Do I shock anybody there?
Oh, Rashida, I think we have some frequency. Yeah.
Okay. So everyone, yeah. So where can you find us? So WIG has a network of fixed and mobile career services and touch points all over Singapore. So I'm gonna let you all focus. So these are all pinpoints. Drop pins, yeah, when we want to look out for Grab, we always look for all these drop pins. Now, all the red drop pins, we are at 24 Singapore Job Skills Center. So this is situated at your community clubs where people can actually walk in to get services. But where our main services are at the green drop pins, this is where Careers Connect is. We are in Woodland Service Center. We are in our Tampines Hub. If you like coming to the Hub, have enjoyed a lot of food here. And of course, we are in Lifelong Learning Institute, which is near to Paya Lebar quarters right now, the new in thing to go. Now on top of it, we have our partners, which is E2I. Now E2I is situated in Jurong. This is the orange pin, yeah. So this is in Jurong, Tua Payoh as well. And then we have our career matching providers. So they are part of brother, sister, cousins like that. They also help with job seekers. So they're on the purple pin. They are with Inges and Maximus. So you can find out a little bit about them. So these are your go-to places when you are seeking out for employment services. So you'll see at the bottom of the screen, there's this little food truck there. We call it the Careers Connect on the go. I'll share with you a little bit more where you find that maybe you can get some hot dogs, ice cream and cake. But I'm going to tell you that no, the Careers Connect is the one-stop, a mobile extension of our career services where we bring the matching over to the heartland. So which means that we try to get as much exposure to people out there, and then we do not want people to only come to Tampines, Woodlands just to find help. So we have a mobile truck where the food truck brings you food. This mobile trucks brings you snapshots of what's other available resources for employment out there for the public to actually utilize. So we will stop over at community areas, heartlands areas. So it's a cool truck. I was in the truck one time before. We set up like al fresco style, but you'll be speaking to us coaches who will share with you about bite-sized contents that is conducted for yourself, like career opportunities, working interviews with employers as well. So these are our bite size that we go around Singapore Island. Now, next, share with you a little bit about this SG United Job Skills Center. So you know that we are on 24 network right now. So this is a very basic advisory that you get. But of course, we also support for job search. And if you are really wanting to know what's available resources, drop by your nearest community clubs, or you can go through our website as well. So comparative to the mobile truck, this is fixed. Mobile truck moves around as the word mobile it is. So this one is always available for you. So what's next? So what is our really key focus at Careers Connect? So we have job seekers, we have employers. So for job seekers, we want to partner you to level up your employability and also placing you into quality jobs. And we do that by customizing career matching services. I'm going to share with you a little bit more. Now, for employers, we partner them to find the best recruit, the best fit position, the best fit talent for their pool of the job ready vacancies that is available. So think of us as the bridge, or you think of us that we are at the end of the bridges. One employer, one job seeker. There is this employer that you want to tackle. Take that employer as your future wife, your future husband, a person that you really want to tackle, and you are walking on that bridge. What we do, we want to bring both job seeker and employer together at the middle of the bridge to say that, hey, that's your best fit person for the role, and hey, that is your best fit employer for the role that you really want to go to. So think of us as that, and we do the matchmaking in that aspect. So if I can put it very comically, we do matchmaking here compared to others who matchmake people from overseas. We matchmake the job seekers and the employers together. But there is a process to go through it. So who do we serve? Then you'll be wondering like, where am I actually? Can I come over to Careers Connect? Do I speak to coaches? Am I a relevant worker? So we serve a diverse group of job seekers across different educational profiles and even backgrounds. We serve the very junior workers. We call them the rank and file. So these are your production workers, kitchen assistants, and so on. So people who require a lot more assistance from us who may not be so tech savvy. We also serve the professionals from the C-suites, your CEO, from your COO. We have that. We served a lot more of retrenched workers right now. People has been laid over because of the pandemic or with closures of companies and establishments. We also serve the returners. So which means that if you are a mom for quite a while, maybe not in this group because you're still very young, I feel. So if you mom like me, so one day I say that I don't want to work anymore, but I just felt that kids are grown up, I get a bit bored, and I want to go back to employment. What should I do? So these are what we call the career returners, or we serve the people who come back from overseas to say that they want to be back to the workforce in Singapore. Fresh graduates like yourself, people also we do assist, and of course career switches. If you do not know what you really want to do, you've been in some employment for a period of time, you really want to switch over, we will have a chat with you and we will go through the whole profiling with yourself. And that's what we do. This is basically the whole diverse group of job seekers that we see at Workforce Singapore. So we do not leave anybody out who are seeking out for employment. So who we are, I'm a career coach myself. So all of us career coach at Workforce Singapore, we have to be professionally certified. We have the Global Career Development Facilitation where we can do group facilitations. We get to know about your career rainbow, what you really want to do from your start to now. And we have career counseling background. And of course, we do career profiling too. So I'll share a little bit. We got you. If you know one of the square here is about VIP 24, we get to know about your values, your interests, your personality. Okay, I'll stop for a while. I think there was some interruption. So what we do is we want to find out what are your interests when you seek out for a certain employment, what you really want to do, what is your values inside, because all of these things, when we look out for a job, we have to find a matching point, and that will make us stay or move from a job itself. So for myself, I am an MBTI trained, so which means I can administer Myers-Briggs type indicator assessment tools. Now find out a little bit about yourself, whether you're introvert, you're an extrovert, whether you're a person with thought thinking processes and things like that. But all of us have strengths and qualities, and that is where we want to find out when we meet with potential job seekers who really want to make that career switch or career move. So we want to tell people that there is no way that you can tell me that I do not know what my skill strengths are, because we are going to dig a little bit deeper with you and we go through the whole process together. Now, next, how do we then support you in terms of your career needs? We have a lot of programs, but most of the time, job seekers do not know what we do. We have 101 job search tips and strategies. We do this called via career bounce back. So which means we aim to equip the job seekers with the basic knowledge of the job search capabilities, what are the available government support schemes out there, and how you can yourself be staying positive. So in wherever that we go, in any times of our life, there will be certain situation that we want to look out for employment. So where do we start? What do we do? How do we make that informed choice that this is the right career and right fit for us? So we do that in this one workshop itself, and you get to know over 2 hours bite size of what's next for yourself. And we share what the schemes that you can take advantage, and how you can craft that winning resume, impressing your resume, stand out well, and then you say that, I have the right person, I am the right attitude that this employer should be getting on. So we push you into that momentum. And of course, in everything that we do, in every situation that we in, there is a need for you to stay positive during your job search, because it's not an easy process. You need to garner all the support from everybody, and you yourself must stay really positive and really well and motivated. That's what I want to share. So next we have the career starter. This is to support our work-bound graduate. So the objective is really to jumpstart our fresh graduates into your next career journey. We equip the fresh graduates with reinforcement of job capabilities and strategies. How do you stand out without working experiences that you may have? No, we do see new graduates who say that, I really have no working experience. What should I do? What should I put in? What should I tell my potential employers? So we're going to ask a lot of intimate questions with you. There is this career starter pack that if you can download from our WFG website, you get to know a booster workshop, and of course, personalized one-to-one with us. There is no way that I say that. I believe that every one of us has good skills and quality experiences. It is something not really thought through by ourselves. But sometimes we're having a next person to chat, you get to know what are your strengths really are. You get to know, hey, I was inside some presidency group, I was doing some leadership role when I was in school, and those are really good skills. Those are some capabilities and strategies that you can match up into your next career search that you really want to go. So we speak to fresh graduates at that stage. Now I'm going to share a little bit more what we do at the centers as well. So there's this full suite of activities or services that we do. We call it the Care 360. So it's our anchoring service at Careers Connect. So to say that when a job seeker walks into us, we won't tell them that, I'm going to put you to an activator right now. I'm going to put you energizer. It's not. It is via all those conversations that we have, getting to know what the job seeker really want, that we will then position them accordingly to what would be suited for them in terms of their job search. So you can say that it's totally customizing, putting in all the specs together so that you'll be really good for your job search. So I'm going to share a little bit about Career Catalyst. This is where job seekers are unsure of their career options and directions, a little bit wishy-washy. Maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that. So they will go into the one-to-one engagement with a career coach to achieve the clarity, and of course to identify the transferable skills. I think Diana spoke about this earlier in her earlier slides, that we will then make a choice, make a decision, make a thought through what are our skills that we want to bring through across sectors of industry. There are certain skills that can be leveraged for all sectors, but there are certain technical skills maybe for one or two sectors they really want to. So in Catalyst, we'll have a deep chat conversation with the clients that we see, the job seekers that we work with. And then we have the career activator. Now, so to say that you really are looking at about certain industry and you feel that I'm not so sure whether this industry is really for me. Should I give it a shot? Should I give it a try? I do not know if I want to go into an interview and then the employer employ me. After one day of working, I'll say, gosh, this is not what I really want to do. So we have an activator where we help you in terms of getting to know what are the industry out there. We do prep, we do interview insights, we share with you what employees are looking for. And before COVID time, we bring people to the industry, to the workplace, to let you have a feel, to have you have a gauge that if I were to stand at this particular workplace, would I be able to excel? So those are the things that we share to job seekers, give them that deep insights of what they really want to do, what's the next step forward. So all these things to achieve better hiring and retention. We do not people want to stay in a job one day and then the next day say that, no, I really couldn't, I make the worst decision ever. We do not want that. So we have this program where job seekers can really have the feel of what it is to be in certain industries and get yourself have that deep insights. What's really that industry all about before you make the plunge in? And then we have recharger. This is for job seekers with emotional issues, which means that there are some job seekers that come in to see us that are really feeling very down, and at this moment to move ahead job search may take a while, so we will be on a deep conversations with the job seeker themselves, boosting up their positivity, boosting up their frame of mind and focus ahead. So this is what we call the recharger program. And then we have the energizer. Now this is to really equip people with job skill strategies. So basically in Energizer, we have accelerated peer learning or job skills, job search skills. You will go into certain workshops, which is conducted in-house by us and things like that. And we also have the 360 from the name Care 360. This is the fundamental that we also help our job seekers, not limited to any form of expertise. We help job seekers to get through network support. So during these events, we created events where you get a chat with employers. It's not really like an interview, but it's more like how do you do an elevator pitch of yourself, a 3 minutes elevator pitch? How do you then project your positiveness that you want your potential person that you're speaking to? It could be an employer, it could be HR. How do you then expand this network and industry context? So we do that at our site. And we want job seekers to expand their network support, which means that we make you have a presence with people that you never know that you will be making connections with. So to say, if today you are taking a lift and every day you see this particular person, you never know what this person does. And you never know that this person can be your potential, maybe he's the CEO. So we will then help you with an elevator pitch to say that, hey, just like to say, hey, good morning. You never know what starts from a good morning. It will be to what I do best, what I can do, and to attract the next employer for yourself. So this is our anchoring services in Careers Connect. Hope I'm not lost everybody at this moment. So if all of you are okay, give me a thumbs up because I think I've got a fair bit to go on from here. Okay, thank you. So what are other WSG programs? Now that I share quite a bit about what we do, you might be thinking that, what else? What else, Rashida? What else have you have for me? So if you have seen this is the SG United Help that is done by the government. A lot of array of programs here, from the mid-careers to traineeships to skills program and job initiative. But of course, you can read through a lot of these if you go through SG United programs. I'm just going to give you a snapshot, bits and pieces for you. It's a bit heavy if I want to share everything, so I just do very simple ones here. So for SG United mid-career pathway, there's about 13,000 over companies, attachment opportunities for mid-career individuals. I think not so much for yourself. It might be more relevant for SG United traineeship programs. That is for graduates who have completed academics from 2019 to 2020 that you can actually take advantage of. We also have the SG United Skills Program where you'll be able to pick up industry relevant skills through a 6 to 12 months full-time training program with employment assistance and heavily subsidized courses. So at this moment, there are a lot of sectors on this SG United Skills Program, from manufacturing to professional services to tourism, transport, environment, wholesale trade, security. A lot of it are inside there. And of course, there is this SG United Job Initiative for 40,000 job opportunities for job seekers, both in the public and the private sectors. And of course, virtual careers fairs covering wide job roles and sectors as well. So I'm going to go very short on this. I think this is very heavily showcased at our social media, our print medias, and also from the government website as well. So what else do? We do career events, workshops, and even seminars. So at this moment, at this pandemic, we do a lot of virtual career fairs. So you can actually join us across 2 week sectorial worker segments and things like that. So we used to do physical career fair and of course workshops and seminars. Right now, everything is online. So some of our online resources, you can go through My Careers Future. Now, this is our baby from WSG. It's a national job portal managed by us, Workforce Singapore, for all Singaporean citizens as well as permanent residents. So you can find a lot of information at your fingertips, from content hub to virtual career fairs, industry insights, career coaching as well. So not only used by job seekers, also used by the employers. So if you feel that, hey, I'm not ready to see a coach right now, there is a self-help service, a repository of job search and career resources by career coaches. That means coaches like myself. We write articles for you. You get to see infographics, quizzes, workshops, and preview sites. So this is at your fingertips, at your own time to actually assess. So one of these is my colleague pictured here. Now, I'll share a little bit about our job seeker stories. I won't go much detail because I think we still want to go into what is about the hospitality landscape right now. I'm going to skim through this slide to go through what's next. Woo! What's next in assessing our WSG services? You can walk in through our centers. We are located at the 3 centers mentioned earlier, the pin drops, or even call our hotline. The easiest and the fastest right now, go to My Careers Future, get to know the information we have. Now, wow, what's next? Now everybody is taking a breather right now. Rashida is talking like, no, stop, what's next? I cannot grasp it. But not to worry, I'm going to touch a little bit on the hospitality industry in today's landscape, and that's where we are all here today. We want to know what's happening in the outside market, especially for the hospitality, the worst hit ever for during the pandemic itself. Now, I'm going to take a moment right now. I want everybody to take a moment to take a look at this picture. Now, this was taken during our circuit breaker mode itself. So I'm going to share with you, this is the first time in Singapore that we are seeing no visitors at our landmarks. So that key picture and that circle is our Marina Bay Sands, fronting from our Malayan and even our, it's not the eye, what do we call it? The wheel. I've forgotten the name now. So this was a picture taken right during circuit breaker, and for the first time, we are not seeing any visitors. Even our Marina Bay Sands, who were shining, all the lights were dim. It was totally silent. It was the hardest hit. And the occupancy at all of our hotels are at the low time rate of less than 95% that was moving. It was the saddest scene ever. And for once, there were no visitors, nobody walking at our T frame, which is Marina Bay Sands, at all. So it was the worst hit. This picture was taken sometime in March, April, during the circuit breaker period. Now, what is the impact that is happening to us? Now, 2020 was a very hopeful for most of the world. It is the beginning of our, for Japan, it was to be their Summer Olympic season. And it is really capturing all the people all over the world to actually come together. And for us in Singapore, we were also expecting our F1 racing to be happening. So I hope nobody forget about F1. So it was a lot of major events, and that the world is all focusing. It was also supposed to be the World Cup, but something happens. So all the effect of COVID-19 gives a significant impact on the worldwide tourism, not only us, but everywhere else. The hospitality and the leisure industry were the first ones to hit the extreme bad weather. It's like a typhoon that sweep out the whole industry. And what makes things worse, and there's the shutdown of our air travels, our hotels, our restaurants are functioning at bare minimum, our theme parks are closed, the cinema is closed, our KTV lounges are closed, everywhere is at a big shutdown, and all of these things where nobody comes in, nobody goes out, we are at our own bubble, we're at our own stage, and all of this disruptive effect on the whole travel ecosystem. So it was the saddest part for us, even in the tourism industry, for the whole of the industry itself. But I would just say that there are research going on via Deloitte, and experts were actually measuring which industry are actually the fastest to shake up from all of this situation, and which industry are the one that is maturing from the rest of the sectors. Now, the whole ecosystem of the travel industry or the hospitality industry involves the retail, the food services, and so on and so forth. So there is this great ecosystem that is going around. But what experts are also seeing that this is an industry that is highly resilient and it has high level of maturity of people in this sector. So they are the first to actually shift them out and say that, hey, you know what? We cannot stay like this for long. We need to push up, we need to be back, and we need to help out in the whole economic of skills. So what trueness of hospitality is when they became committed and they were the first one to actually open up their venues for the recuperation of our healthcare industry. I'm not sure about you guys, but myself from Workforce Singapore, when I'm working with employers, I was working with the healthcare, the tourism, and all these things. Now, the tourism industry is the first one that actually opened up the door for the migrant workers. They were the one who actually sheltered people who come back, the returners that come back from overseas and housed at their hotels. They were down at the Tanjong Pagar floating. This is where the housing of the migrant workers are, where the panic was the highest of all. But this is what the whole industry is all about. So they are the first to see it, they are the first to be down, but they're the first to raise up when the calling goes out for them. So aside from the healthcare workers, which are the frontliners, the hospitality were just at the frontliners themselves. They were preparing all of their business models and opportunities, and they were doing all that they can to sustain the economy, to sustain their businesses. So this is what we see, this is what experts are seeing, this is what myself are also seeing when I'm working with the business owners from the tourism industry itself. So they bring about new business models, and right now, you see a lot of them are on social media platform. They are the first to go into digitalize. They are going into AR and VR modes, sharing about their hotels and things, and they are also initiating and promoting the staycation. When all of this finally actually dies out, I think we are the fastest to control it at our end. So as it dies out, the industry itself stays afloat by promoting staycations, the holiday concept. Now they call it the rediscover. So we are supposed to be, we are still in this bubble where we cannot get out. We are supposed to help promote the whole industry system for ourselves. And in Asia, especially in Singapore, we are already seeing a pickup for this industry. Now, what about the hiring opportunities? Now, you might be thinking that, it seems down, everything seems sad and bleak. What about it? Where are the hiring opportunities? Now, I'm going to share that hiring will definitely be delayed at this moment as compared to how it was a year ago or 6 months from before this. The industry is going into transformation, and we see that we have to give a little bit more time for this industry to really come back into full force. But what I'm seeing, there's already pockets of hiring already in this industry. You would actually observe that our travel industries are back on business with rediscover vouchers and things like that. It is really boosting up, but it is still at a slower pace, but still picking up. Very hopeful for the industry itself. Perhaps when the air bubbles, I know 3 days ago, STB actually signed with Korea, and definitely that will help out when everything goes on. So I'm going to go for the last slide, Diana. I saw her online. So what shall you do? Be on a good online presence at this moment, that if you are seeking out for the industry itself, build up your networks. In the past, we've seen a lot of the small companies, or only the big companies are making their online presence in LinkedIn. But right now, everybody is on this platform. So I want everybody to rip in, get into the network, go through the networking with the companies via virtual or online. The be strategic and focus on the organizations that you want to go to. There are companies that is already actively advertising. I see OTA, your online travel agencies are up and running. So you should be targeting on them. Look out for contracts. Even at this moment, you might be thinking like, I'm not really interested, but think about it. Give time for the economy to bounce back. And when they do, you are the first to get the rewards itself. And of course, plan and re-strategize on your next move. So all of this, I'm on my next slide. Last one. All of this, we want back the vibrancy of Singapore. We want back to be a uniquely part of us. And that's what we do best. We do not have the natural resources, but tourism, hospitality is one of us. It is where we are well known around the world. And I think us, where we are, we can make it happen. Let the industry recover and everything will be well. Give time for everything. So that's the end. I'm sorry I'm eating up into everybody's time. So I'll pass the slide. I'm going to stop share right now. Pass the slide back to Diana and Nima.
Thank you, Ms. Rasida, for sharing with us. I think every one of us can use the reaction button and give her a round of applause. All right. Actually, there's something I would like to share as well. Be the beacon that shines the light for them, hold their hand and encourages them. I came across this in your article, Rasida, and thank you for sharing that with us. And do not forget to check out her article and her beautiful dance in the YouTube that I've sent on the chat function as well. So without further ado, we'll move on to our second guest speaker for today, Ms. Ang Sin Sing. She's from Republic Poly Career Center. She's very passionate about helping others discover their strengths and interests to achieve their aspirations. She's also a seasoned communicator and educator with about 20 years of experience. And she's also always curious and a keen observer of human behavior. Without further ado, Ms. Ang Sin, please.
Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Great, wonderful. Okay, let me just take some time to just open up the PowerPoint that I would like to share.
Sure.
Okay, great. All right. Okay, let me see now. Yeah, here we go. All right, thank you very much, Namal, for that. I think you have gotten that little spiel about myself from my LinkedIn profile. So that's good, that's good. All right, I'm here this afternoon. I'm just going to share very quickly the skills that you have. How do you know them and how do you show them? Now, before I get into the topic at hand, I'd like to also just, thank my team members. I am one of 6 counselors in the Career Center at RP. All right, and what we do in our daily job is really to help students answer 3 questions. Number 1 is, who am I? where am I going, and how do I get there? So all this takes place either on one-on-one counseling, group counseling, all right, class visits, through the curriculum, and we also help out when alumni comes back to us, and then they want to have a chat with someone. So we are really like the sounding board for them, all right? So, okay, let's get on with the show. Okay, now I'm just sharing this with you. I saw this article around about, like, this was September this year. And this article, they talked a lot about how job seekers are urged to focus on their skills rather than past experience, all right? Even for myself as a counselor, this is my third career, so to speak. My first was in corporate, in marketing, and then I was doing regional work. I was based here in Singapore, Taiwan, and then later on in Australia. Then my second career was an educator. So I was teaching both at the Polytechnic and also in the evening programs at SUSS. So it was very, very enjoyable. And this is my third career. So actually, my experience, all right, really kind of matter little, but really when I want to put myself forth going into alternative industry, alternative job role, I should be focusing on the skills that I have gotten from my first career, second career, and now my third career. So keep this in mind as we go through a couple of slides, all right, to talk about what are skills and why is it so important that we know who we are, what are our strengths, and how we can position ourselves, especially if you want to move away from hospitality, just because right now it is a bit tougher than most times, and you want to perhaps move to another job, another career, another sector, or even another industry. So the key thing here is focus on what are your skills, right? Now, this was some of the stories that accompanied that news report, all right? So they talk about people who were very affected by the COVID, by the pandemic, and also by the working from home. And there was just really a full shutdown just to make sure that we are all kept safe. So on my left-hand side, you would see this lady. She was actually one of the tour guide. And in the end, because there was no tourists, so she couldn't guide. And in the end, what she did was she kind of rediscovered her culinary skills, and she started a home baking little enterprise, and she's surviving. And she said in the story that once the industry picked up, all right, she hopes to go back to her previous job as a guide. And in fact, I was just reading some articles, in preparation for this. And I think as tour agencies, all right, they are also reskilling and then trying to see how they could have a win-win partnership with the hotels, with other smaller business to get things going, all right? Then the other person on the right, now apparently this nice-looking gentleman, all right, he was actually one of the alumni from SOH. He was one of the first batch of graduates from SOH. So previously he was in marketing. No, he was in events, and then after which, all right, he had to switch because of the situation was going on and he needs to survive. So you would see from these two stories itself, how people are looking to themselves, what are the skills that they have that could actually translate and transfer it to other job functions and to other sectors or even industry. All right, so this is where the two things I hope that I would like to share with you this afternoon is really know your skills, and the second is really how do you show your skills, right? So let's get on with the first point I'd like to share. Okay, now you would see here, I have put up here what we call the critical core skills. Now, critical core skills, these were drawn from the first set of generic skills that skills framework, skills future, all right, came up with. Now, the general skill sets, the first set, they identified 18 of them. Now, this was then pared down to 16 critical core skills which all Singaporeans should aspire to have, all right? Why is it important? Because critical core skills are what I would term as transferable skills. So these are observable behavior that you could use not just in one industry, one job, or one function, but it can be transferred to other jobs, other function, other industry, and other sectors. So which means that you have these skills, you are very mobile, you are actually very needed because, all right, all this would help you complement your technical skills, and you could actually then stand out from the crowd, from the competition. So the three skills over, the three sets here, you would see one is thinking critically. So it's your cognitive skills. The next one is interacting with others. So this is how you are able to think about the needs of others, all right? How do you exchange information with others, all right? Working as a team. So there's this collaborative effort, communication effort, all right, over there. Then the last one is staying relevant. So this is very much about managing yourself, paying close attention to how trends, that is happening around us, how that will affect you and what you can do, all right, to help yourself. So there are three big categories over here, and how they came up with this 16 sets is that they did, or here the person, the group here, what I mean is Skills Future, all right? So what they did was they interviewed executives from, let me see, I just want to get the numbers right. So they interviewed people from 122, all right, representatives, executives in, and then from 79 organizations across 28 industries. So what they did was they tried to find the commonality and the very much wanted, needed skills that these people are looking for, the industries are looking for. So then you have this 16 that finally sort of made the cut, right? Okay, now, so the first point here, why did I show you that? Now, I show you that just to give you an idea that, wow, okay, these are the skills that most employers are looking for. You may not have all of it, that's fine, but identify them and then ask yourself, do I have the set of thinking skills? Do I have the set of collaborating skills? Do I have what it takes to manage myself? All right. So that gives you an idea. But just like with the students I counsel or even alumni that I've talked with, sometimes we get so lost in the business of our daily living and our work, we forget who we are. We forget the strengths and the skills that we have. So if you can whip out your phone and just take a picture of this, or even just scribble, if you got a pen and paper, just scribble on a sheet of paper, all right? So just mentally, if you don't have, never mind, just walk with me as I bring you through, all right? So on this white paper, this is an exercise that you can do, on your own, all right? You could get your partner or a friend who knows you very well to later then just counter check, hey, are these skills what other people see? So sometimes what other people say about us, all right, it's also confirmation of our strengths. So that is another something that you can think of, right? So on this 4 quadrants, so on the top left-hand corner, you can list down all the things that you like and you're good at, activities that you like to do and you're good at it, all right? So it can be something that's very formal, or it could be something that's very informal, okay? So for example, now if I were to think of myself, okay, I think the things that I'm good at and I like are things that is creativity kind of related stuff, or even problem solving. I love puzzles, right? So these are things that I'm good at and I like it. Then on the top right-hand corner, you have things that you are not very good at, but hey, you actually like to do, all right? So for example, in this quadrant for myself, okay, I like to cook and bake, but I don't think I'm very good at it. It's still developing skills, so I put that there. So this is not anything that is official, but it's something I do in my spare time. So I can also include that. But of course, you can also put in activities that you're not very good at in the office, but you like to do that. So put it in that quadrant. Okay, now we come to the lower bottom quadrants. Okay, so on the left bottom quadrant, okay, this is where you can list the things that you dislike to do, but you're actually very good at it. Now, a lot of students that I talk with, or even sometimes the alumni, they will say, you know what, Miss Ang, all right, I'm actually very good at Excel, no, but I really don't like it. But my boss always asks me to do all these calculation, Excel, then do, the presentation. I don't really like it, but you know what, I'm actually very good. I do it very quickly. So good, if you're one of those people, you can see some skills that you are very good, but you don't really like, it's okay. Just list them down over in this bottom left quadrant. Then we come to the last one. All of us, we would have something that we dislike and we are not good at, okay? So we could also put over here some of these items, all right, or some of these activities, okay. Now, if you have already mentally put them down in all these 4 quadrants, fine. I would share with you in the next slide, what does it all mean and how can I make use of this information in terms of my job application, in terms of looking for a job. Okay, all right, ready? Okay, let's go. All right, oops, sorry. Okay, now this is what it means over here. So on the top left hand column, the first one that just now you have identified the things that you are good at and you like to do. Now, these are what I call motivating skills because these represent your natural talents, your natural strengths, and therefore it is displayed in your natural skills that you have. Skills, yes, you learn the skills, but you probably would have some kind of inclination towards those areas. All of us are born with strengths that we have, and then you can then work on those strengths and get even stronger. You always start from the position of strength. So this is what I would categorize as your natural strengths, right? Now then on the top right column, quadrant, this is where the things that you like to do, but you're not very good at. So for example, just now I was giving the example of my cooking and baking skills. So I'm not very good at it, but I like to do. So this becomes actually very powerful. Why is it powerful? Because these are what I call your potential strength, your potential skills. Because if you practice it over time, over and over again, you will get better and better and better. So actually my cooking and baking, right, I hope one day when I retire, I can have a little side business and you know, that I can cook and bake for people, all right, and maybe do a little bit of catering. So this has got a lot of potential when you're thinking and moving this into, in terms of your job application, right? So do not reduce this or do not put this away. This is your potential, remember that. Now we come to the bottom 2 quadrants. So on the bottom left, you have what you call burnout skills. Now these are skills that you're very good, but actually, you know, if possible, you don't want to do them, all right? Now, this is what I call your survivor skills. Now, these skills becomes very important because when you look for a job and then the skills and the requirements, some of them matches your burnout skills. Does it mean that you don't apply it? All right, now this is a very personal choice. I leave it up to you, all right? But most of the time, I would advise people, look, if you have burnout skills and these are skills that employers are looking for, and if you're really in need of a job, all right, I think it is wise to take the job because who knows, whatever else can happen on the job, all right, there could be new areas that you can go into. So the first thing here is to get into the game. Later on, I'll talk a little bit about that. Now, the last quadrant is what I would call skills that you do not enjoy and you're not good at. So you may ask, then Ms. Ang, what do I do with this? Do I throw this away? No, no, no. Every skills on this quadrant is very important. So things that you do not enjoy and you're not good at, guess what? Bring it up to a functional level because in all jobs, there will be things that we don't really like and we are not very good. But this is very important because you want to bring this to a functional level that you can still get the things done. You can still get the job done, okay? All right, so Now I come to the second part. So we have touched upon the areas of know your skills. Now we want to talk about how do you show your skills. Okay, now over here, very simply now, just now Rashida has talked a lot about putting yourself out there, connecting with people. But over here, I just want to share with you what are things that you can do within your control. So how do you show your skills? You show your skills by highlighting the key skill sets that you have, all right, in your resume. Now, this is a template that we provide for alumni as well as our students in their ECG curriculum. Okay, so they have been taught how to write their resume according to this, and there are different steps. We have all the advisories on our website. Later I'll show you where, and you can access it. So the first thing here is show your skills that you have, be it technical skills or your generic skills or your transferable skills, in the very top of the page, because this is where you would capture the attention of the employer, potential employer, all right, who would then see the relevance, and then because as long as you're eligible for the role, they would likely, high chances that they would call you in for an interview, right? Then the other very important platform in this day and age, really, you must have a LinkedIn account. Now, this example here, Jeremiah Su, he was actually one of my former students. Now he is an entrepreneur, all right, public speaker, and he is in the creative industry, all right, very exciting. So the next thing you need to have is really your LinkedIn account, okay? So first, we have know your skills, all right, according to the 4 quadrants that we talked about. Then the second bit is really show your skill. Be proud about your skills, put it out there in the social media, and especially LinkedIn account, right? Okay. Now, so just now we were talking about getting into the game. So the question here is, once you know your skills, all right, you want to get into the game of being employed, because once you're in the game, you are then able to explore other avenues that will help you move forward, all right? So it's very important. And how do you get into the game? You get into the game by approaching people like Rashida and WSG, or coming back to the Career Center that we can help you out, all right? So the main thing is to get into the game, because when you're in the game, all right, you can play the game, right? Okay, so long and short of it, I really just want everybody to go away from this little sharing to know where are my skills needed. So once you have known your skills, because you'll be amazed, some of the skills that are needed may not be necessarily in the industry that you come from, but it's also very exciting because the world is changing so fast, all right? And once you have that bitten by that bug, right? Then it becomes an adventure, because your skills will actually bring you to many places and many new exciting job roles that you never thought of, okay? All right, now this is the one that I want to pause a little bit here. So if you have your phone, again, take a picture of this, all right? This is our ECG guide that is cited within RP, all right? So you can go into this site, and then you will see on the left side, we have a lot of resources that would help you get started, okay, in terms of looking for a job. What do you do? How do I put my resume together? So on the right-hand side, you have to use your RP email address, and then those who are alumni, I think is still functional, all right? So not to worry, you should be able to get into that page called RP JobsNet, and that is where we have a lot of resources, templates that you can make use of to write your resume, your cover letter, and even tips on interview skills, okay? So with that, I have come to the end, all right? So thank you very much for listening to me, all right? And then over back to you, Diana. Okay, I'll stop sharing right now.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sing Sing, on this sharing. I really believe that critical core skill is what we need to work on day-to-day basis. And even that, most important, link profile. It's a very important tool. So everyone, please, you need to start to do it. If you have, try to build up your link profile, all right? So everyone, we all know that we had the reactions tool there, right? So let's give a round of applause to Miss Sing Sing for sharing with us. So let's use the reaction virtual clap for her. Please come, I want to see more claps. All right. Thank you so much. Nirmal, do you think we should have some fun right now?
Yes, indeed. All right, so now we have listened to all our cool speakers, and before we proceed to our panel discussion, let's take a group photo. So
Yeah.
everyone to switch on your videos and show us your beautiful faces and great smile as well.
Come on, everyone, all your videos are on. Okay, I need my DK, who's the AV in charge. So DK, your time is to you. When you are ready, just say 1, 2, 3, and all of us will smile widely. Show us your teeth, your beautiful smile, and everybody. All right.
Guys, yeah, let's just move for one more. Come. Okay, come, guys. Don't be shy, guys. Come on, everyone should be quite happy today, right? It's a shop, I guess. Shopee, Lazada, I guess we are happily shopping, right? So let's show our happy face together, shall we?
All right, Vicky, I think we have most of them. Some of them are still shy.
So DK, if you're ready, you can let us know and we will all smile. So it's very hard to hold our smile for very long in the Zoom, you know. So you need to count down for us.
Okay, guys. Okay, so the count of 1, 2, and 3. Smile. Okay, just hold one more. We have 2 screens, so yeah. Okay, come. Once again. 3, 2, 1. Smile. All right. Thank you guys so much.
All right, thank you. But do not off your video since you're already on your video. So let's do the panel discussion because that's how we want to have interactive. So to all the participants, feel free to ask your question through the chat so that we will pick it up and we also will get our panel specialists. So you have heard from our cool speaker, Miss Rashida, our knowledgeable speaker from Miss Sing Sing on their topic. And right now, I'm going to introduce to you our 2 graduates who are from the School of Hospitality, who have graduated from School of Hospitality. We have Darren and Tina. So a little thing about Darren and Tina. Darren is currently working in CWT, Travel Services, and he works as a human resource specialist. And he is also a part of SOH Alumni Advisory Committee. And Tina, who is currently working in SETS, PPG Singapore Private Limited as a duty manager. This is very interesting about Tina. She's been working as a duty manager in Terminal 4 Blossom Launch for the past 3 years, but unfortunately, this pandemic brought a huge change in her job scope. But she's thankful to her company for sustaining her in her current position. So let me to welcome all our 4 panel speaker, Rashida, Sing Sing, Darren, and Tina. So let's give a round of applause either through video or through your reaction. So let's make it fun. All right, so before we kickstart off this panel discussion, why not I pose a question to the 4 of you? Probably we can go with the order with Rashida, Sing Sing, probably Darren and Tina. Maybe you guys can share with us what are transferable skills in hospital industry mean to you? So maybe Rashida, you want to take up?
To the hospitality industry, you mean?
Yes.
Okay, so basically this is a people-centric industry itself. You must have the passion, you must have the liking to work with people. So your persona has to sense it to say that this is where I really want to do. Great communications, you must have that ability to communicate with people of all walks of life, how they are, and be curious in that sense. Have a great commitment as well. As per any jobs that we are going to go to, the commitment has to be there. So I would say that you have to have the passionate, great communication skills, and people skills would matter for this industry itself.
All right, that was nice. Thank you so much, Rashida. How about you, Miss Sing Sing? What's your views?
With the hospitality industry, they have a lot of transferable skills. For example, problem solving, analytical, all right, analytics, okay, that you're able to analyze because, you know, when you're serving customers, you know, you have a problem, you have to immediately attend to it and show that you're passionate about attending to the needs of people. So, and then in terms of the qualities, really the heart, the innate, the heart to want to help. So I think as long as you have that, people would know it, they would feel it, all right? And then the other one is really very detailed, meticulous, detailed, because the needs of others is paramount. So you're always thinking, oh, how can I make this person feel welcome, all right, that their needs are met, all right? So when you think about the skill sets that are transferable from hospitality, all right, there are a full range. Really, it's for us to open our minds and then think. That's why just now my question, one parting remark is, where are my skills needed? Not necessarily just in hospitality, but other areas.
All right. Thank you so much. Darren, how about yourself? Your views?
Hi, so I think, yeah, like what Rashida and Sing Sing has actually mentioned, there are lots of skills in the hospitality industry that's actually transferable, whether is it within the industry itself or even outside of the industry. A lot of things that goes on within the hospitality industry includes things like, the being passionate in the role that you are doing, because you're coming into contact with a lot of people, whether is it tourists or even locals, to the certain extent based on where you're actually working in. That as well, of course, decision making and problem solving are a huge part of it, given that people have that certain expectation of you yourself as, for example, a service personnel. They would want their problems to be solved by you, or like by anyone at that point in time, instead of a week later, or even a few days later may be a stretch to some already. So having those skills are actually very important, and of course very transferable to wherever you go.
All right. That was nice, Darren. And Tina, yes. What's your view on this?
I think, yeah, I agree with all of them that working in the hospitality industry, there are a lot of skills that you can bring forward to your future job or even current jobs. I think one of it in the hospitality industry is you're not doing the same thing every day, and the people that you're facing people every day, so it's not machine, and that's why it takes a lot of different skill sets. Like, even especially one of it is especially resilience. I think not just emotionally, because you're dealing with people every day, different problems, but also physically, because in hospitality industry you tend to work longer hours. You tend to work hours that people or normal office people don't really work. So that's something that is very valuable, I feel, in the hospitality industry.
That was nice, Tina. So then now I'm going to ask you back a question is, other than resilient as the skill, what skills required to get into the hospitality industry then?
Okay, that's one of the questions that I saw on the list, and I think that is something that I thought about before I decided to enter into the hospitality industry full time. Yeah, so I think, sorry, so it would be required to get into. Okay, I think I'll build on, which is my main point, resilience, because that is something that before I step into hospitality industry, people who are already in hospitality told me that, ask me lah, are you sure of it? Because the working hours are very long. You don't really, it's very different from an office job. Yeah, and the main thing that was being highlighted to me was the working hours and doing shift work. So, and right at the start, it is challenging in that way, but I would say that you have to be very open about it, very willing to learn, and very adaptable to it. So these are the few skill sets that you have to take note of, and you have to build along the way. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Tina. I think that is a useful thing that you have shared, because I think skills is important, and how we want to use the skills also plays a part. All right, Nirmal, do you have anything that you want to ask to our panel speakers?
Sure. So Darren, from a personal experience, is it difficult to join the IT segment, a department of the hospital industry? And why is that so?
I think when we talk about joining any roles, in general, there's bound to be some challenges to it. And this question was very specific on how the IT department in the hospitality industry is. And personally, I have not actually had much encounter with what the whole recruitment process of the IT industry, IT department side actually requires. But what I understand from that is that, from the IT department, a lot of it is actually based on their knowledge and expertise on the technology systems and software. And it may be a reason that, the softwares that or the expertise that they have on this softwares may not be what the company is using or is looking for, because potentially there are different based on my understanding, there are actually different types of softwares out there that people have got expertise on. So it may be very specific softwares knowledge that people may have in the past, and currently when we are being taught when they are being taught of like certain IT related knowledge, it's more on the newer processes. So there may also be a gap in between what organizations have and have not actually transferred to what are in the newer courses that are being taught by maybe professional courses or even in school. So that I just feel that there might be a gap in there that has not been crossed over yet. Some companies might still be under the older softwares, and some of them are actually on a different softwares already.
All right, thank you so much, Darren, on this. So we have one question that came up from the chat by Shu Yan. What are the range of skill set and continued training need to thrive in the industry? So let me see who will be the suitable one. Rashida, would you like to say something about this?
Sure. Okay. So if you can follow me in my LinkedIn profile, I did share a little bit about what is the common skill set that you need. But suddenly, I felt that it is spread across all. So inside my LinkedIn, find me at your LinkedIn page, Rasida Rashid. I did speak about a unicorn marketeer. So no matter what, we are a marketeer ourselves in any roles that we have to go to. We must have that knowledge of social media presence. We must be very accustomed on creativity, also on our own dynamic skills. So this skill set is really spread across all. We cannot take one exclusively than the other. It comes together as one. So you have to see what roles are you thriving in terms for the hospitality industry that you really want to go. Like Tina is in duty management, so she must be able to work with people, must have that situation where how you do your problem solving and things like that. So if you want to go into the ICT sector, then you must be able to know of the software, the hardware, and so on and so forth. So you have to know where do you really want to go, and for that dwell a little bit deeper where you can pluck out certain skills, your competencies for the next role that you really want to go.
All right, thank you so much, Rashida. Maybe I should hear also something from Darren, because Darren is a HR specialist. So what do you think, like, what are the range of skill set that will be helpful?
Range of skill sets that will be helpful to continue to thrive in the industry itself. Okay, this is I think it goes back to our earlier discussion on having transferable skills. First of all, I think the core skills that even Miss Sing Sing has identified earlier in her presentation, it's a starting point for understanding what type of skills that you actually require, and making sure that those core skills that were identified, you are strong in those core skills. It actually helps you wherever you go, not just in the industry itself, but in any positions that you may eventually end up in. So I think for a starting point, that would be a good place to start from. And of course, you start developing the other parts of your skills and knowledge that the work actually requires you to be strong in.
All right. Thank you so much, Darren, for sharing that. So, Nirmal, what do you think? Where should we move to the next topic on discussion?
All right. I guess the next topic of discussion is about what's the next big thing that will transform the travel or hospitality industry in the next 5 to 10 years. And I would also like to take in account that now we're going through the COVID phase. So a lot of things have changed, and maybe we can talk about that as well.
Yeah. So probably we have Rashida to share about that portion. Like, what do you see the transform on the travel industry about the next 5, 10 years?
Sure. Right now, we talk a lot about social media, making social media appearances, and you know that some of the hotels are going into AR and VR mode. So that is the next big thing that is happening. We also see the testing of the drone taxis in Singapore, not yet in service, but technology will be the thing ahead for this industry itself. If you've been to Chua, I'm not sure, Tina, you should be very familiar. Yotel is one of the hotels that goes into AI mode. Very much automation, robotics. It is everywhere. Our airport was the first to use robotics concierge services, and Yotel actually adopted well. So we'll see a lot more housekeepers who will be robots, who will be working around, and it's really quite fun. I have the opportunity to be at the hotel and be interactive with the people behind the scenes. So if you are in ICT for the hospitality industry, and this is something that you want to go, you are well needed. If you really want to go into social media marketing, it is well needed as well, because the pandemic itself will change the whole concept of transactional, day-to-day cash transactional. Everything is going online. Even our online travel agencies are going into digitalizations. So that's the next thing forward for the industry that we are seeing from our side.
All right, thank you so much, Rashida. So we talk about the transformation of what we want to see for the next 5 to 10 years, but because due to the COVID and the industry is affected, so I would like to pose this question to Miss Sing Sing and Tina. How long do you think it takes for the current hospitality and tourism industry to fully recover? So probably maybe Tina go first, and then followed by Miss Sing Sing.
Okay, this is a tough question because I feel that no one can give a definite answer as to when everything will recover. Uh, Take for instance, because I work at Terminal 4, so when COVID hit, it was quite harsh on us because Terminal 4 had to close off. So right from April until now, I have not stepped back into Terminal 4, and Terminal 4 is closed. No one can even enter, like public can't even enter. Yeah, so from then at first we were posted to Seletar Airport, so I was still doing lounge operations, but then now I'm doing stay home notice visits, because what happened was ICA contracted sets to do stay home notice visits. Yeah, so we won't really know how long this will carry on. What we hear is most probably until end of March, but even if it's still end of March, Terminal 4 would be the last open, because they want to ensure that operationally the other two terminals, now Terminal 2 is closed, so 1 and 3, both of them are packed till they open Terminal 4. So yeah, I can't really give an answer to it, but I would say it's quite interesting how the hospitality industry has turned out, because I feel that even though I'm doing these stay home notice checks, it is something that is out of our job scope, but it is something that as people who are working in the hospitality industry, it's still a little related, because you are knocking on doors, you are checking on people, they'll be asking you questions. You still have to give them that assurance that everything is okay, because they can be quite worried also, like coming back from overseas, they can be quite panicky also. Yeah, so I feel that I'm happy that I still get to interact with people on a daily basis. Yeah, so
Right.
I can't give an answer to that.
Yeah, so it's more of like adaptability,
Yeah.
open mind. Even though whatever we learned, we just need to use it in the right mindset. I think that will make us to move forward. How about Sing Sing, Miss Sing Sing? How about yourself?
think that question, if only we all have the crystal ball. But having said that, I think I mean reports in the newspaper, they were talking about between 3 to 5 years. I mean STB, Mr. Keith Tan, all right, he was sharing in one of the report dated I think 24th September. So and he was giving a rundown of how the different parts of the hospitality and the retail sector is trying to get back on their feet. But I think globally, because the tourist industry, I think we contribute 4% of the GDP in Singapore. All right. And then and because of COVID, because of the lockdown, it has plunged drastically. So you can imagine from 1.69 million last year of tourist visits. Now we have recorded in August this year was about 8,912. So that's a huge decrease. And we don't just look at ourselves, but really what is happening in the world, because tourism, the coming in and out, all right, it's really dependent on how other countries are getting back on their feet. You know what I'm saying? So certain countries is going through a meltdown, and they may be one of the contributors to how fast we can recover. So because of this global mindset that we have right now, really we are now becoming a global citizen. It's not just about our own country. So even though our government has predicted, given a 3 to 5 year kind of stage to fully recover, this is still dependent on other people looking at Europe, looking at US, all right, and those people who are our favorites like Indonesians, the Chinese, right? So it's really we can't really set the timeline, but how we can move forward is, as what we've already talked about, is really being flexible, being adaptable. And if you are caught in this situation, all right, in a hard situation, right? So how do you move forward? How do you still try to get a job to provide for your family? It is really to look really closely at your skills and ask yourself, perhaps it is time for me to move on to another adjacent job or industry to survive. You know what I'm saying? And then when things pick up, to hop back again, so to speak. Yeah. So really, there is no. I mean, we can only be very optimistic and do our best, but the timeline of 3 to 5. But even then, I would put a cautionary note there to say how other countries are getting on with it, because our livelihood, tourism, it's really dependent on our visitors. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much for that sharing. Probably I would like to go to Darren to ask him is that how can someone enter the human resource industry with no background, or how can viable is the HR industry post-COVID?
I think entering any industry, it's you probably need a certain level of experience or understanding of what the role actually requires you to do. And I think right now at this point in time, I think what we have is very how should I put it? Like, we have got a lot of resources available for people to get into roles that, you have not done before. So like what Rashida was sharing, all the SG United programs for traineeship or even for any work experience programs, these are very good starting points for people who wants to get into an industry or a department, for example. And this is the best avenue to actually go about with getting more experience about it. For HR industry itself, it's very broad. We have got different departments under a full HR umbrella. So you have things like your recruitment, your talent acquisition, payroll, so on and so forth. And a lot of people actually go from start off with, let's say, a recruitment agency, because that is probably what the very first part of HR maybe to some people, whereby um, you get to learn about how to screen employees who are sending in their resumes, selecting employees who will come into an organization, and other uh, roles that taking people who do not have relevant background experience would include things like we understand with how certain, let's say, SMEs are organized. Most of the roles of an administration or an office administration role coupled are coupled together with that of HR role. So because of the structure of the organization itself being really small, um, they are the admin is usually the HR for the company as well. So maybe starting from knowing a admin role, which I believe it's easy for people to know what kind of a job scope the office administrator does, and going from that to gain more experience about HR will be somewhere to start from. Um, and also, how viable is the HR industry post COVID? I would say that post COVID or even now leading to post COVID, HR will be there for everyone to get involved in to a certain extent. Most specifically, of course, in the area of recruitment, because when industry is going to pick up, recruitment is going to be required to get companies back to where they were before. And that would be, I think, the one most important thing that people should start looking forward to as industry picks up slowly but definitely surely. And I would want to round that point off by saying that countries or even countries itself can't go without tourism, given the past performance of how the tourism and hospitality industry has been, whether is it for the country itself or whether is it for everyone. Everyone is just wanting to travel. Everyone is looking out to traveling, and everyone would wants to visit the tourism attraction or somewhere across the world. So it is not over yet, but we're just looking forward to when that will actually resume.
All right. Yeah, Darren, that is a very detailed. I believe that will happen like after COVID, and every company will start to do recruitment agency, and everybody will get busier after that. And
No,
yeah,
but I think they will say. I mean, Rashida and Sing were sharing that there are pockets of hiring already happening right now. So it's just a matter of which industry it is starting the recruitment, and recruitment, of course, is something that is uh, transferable across all industries. So it doesn't have to be recruitment within the hospitality industry, but you could be recruiting for other industries itself. So
oh,
that could be a core skill set for to start off with.
all right, that's nice. So now I want to go to Rashida, since he has mentioned your name about. So what do you think about venues and the path to grow in the HR industry?
Actually, as what Darren has said, there's a lot of pathways in the HR. You can be HR VP, HR generalist, your payroll, your your it's a lot. It is a lot of pathways that you want to go. As long as there is recruitments and hiring, as long as companies it's still on manpower resources, you cannot go around it. There is always a HR practitioner inside it, and like what Darren said, it's also one of the top inside any organization. Aside from the finance, the HR also do the administration and also will do the development of where the hierarchy will be, who goes in where and things like that. So it is for long to stay. The direction will always be there for people who want to go into HR services, but it's more about where does you find yourself landing into the specific roles. Do you like to do with recruitment? Do you then like to work with line managers? And that's where your HRBP will be at. And then there is always from HR executive to senior HR director, the pathways is always there for people wanting to go in this line. But again, for job seekers who are going into the sectorial, they have to see what is their anchor point, what is the strength that they can really bring in, and from there they plot their way forward for the next role that they really are interested in going in.
All right. Thank you so much. I think all the four of y'all has shared, and I what I could see is more of like have open mind, um, focus on your skills, look up, be open, be adaptable and stuff. So I want to hear from all the four of you is what is the tips or key message that you'd like to share to our participants today? So maybe Tina, would you like to share with us your tips or key message to our participants for today?
Sorry. I think it would be, yeah, like what you mentioned, to be willing, I think adaptable and be willing to learn, especially in this current situation that you're in. Yeah, because I think even for staff that were under me and they weren't too keen about being deployed elsewhere, walking under the sun, stuff like that. But I told them that it is how it is now. Situation is a bit different, so you can't really choose what we like to do, what we don't like to do, and as long as you have a job, it is something that you should be thankful for in this point in time. And yeah.
All right. Thank you, Tina. How about Miss Sing Sing? How about yourself?
I think the first thing is as I would always advise students, all right, the three key questions. The first one is know yourself, know who you are, know what are your strengths, all right? So you can start by using that little motivating quadrant, all right? So know your strengths, because it's only when you know your strengths, your values, your qualities, who you are, then you're able to look around in the environment and say, where are my strengths needed? And that's where you can actually start from somewhere, and in a very, very practical way. And of course, the buzzword, and I think your survivor word right now in this kind of situation is to be adaptable. To be adaptable, to be flexible, and with that is to be open-minded. So the tip and the advice I would give is know yourself, know your strengths, look around you, be adaptable, take the first opportunity, just go into it, because when you're not in the game, you cannot play the game.
All right, that's true. You need to have the game in you. Rashida, how about yourself?
I agree to what Ming Sing Sing said. You have to know yourself really well. Stay motivated. Things gonna get a little bit bumpy, but it's not the end of everything. There's still pockets of hiring. You just need to know where your interests are, where you want to plunk yourself in, and most importantly, network, network, and network. Open up your LinkedIn profile. Start from it. That's where you will fly from there. You never know who is inside your network. It could be a recruiter, it could be an employer, it could be one of your alumni themselves. So I would want to stress it here to everybody, even if we are searching or we're not searching, start networking. We don't start it at the end, but we start it from now and start it off. We are all here together. Linked with us first, and then that will spread your network really far and wide. Catchment area gets wider from here.
All right, that was nice. Network is the key tool. Yeah, I agree with you. And lastly, Darren, everybody have answered, so you need to say something beautiful out of these answers.
I guess first of all, to everyone who is whether is it fresh graduates or even someone who may have been impacted during this period of the COVID-19, is to always stay positive. You know, keep an open mind to anything that may take place, with regards to any opportunities that may appear out of maybe nowhere, yeah, or you have been actively searching for it, and also to be open to any new challenges that may take place along the way, or even any changes within the company that you are in or the industry. Just follow the changes and not restrict to any changes taking place, because we know that with the current situation itself, change is going to be a big word that is going to happen across the industry and companies as workforce becomes leaner and more mobile, moving forward.
All right, so thank you so much. I think To all the four speakers, our panel speakers, thank you so much for taking part in this panel discussion. I think each and everyone who's here will understand the need and also the importance of what you have shared. So everyone, let's give a round of applause. So whoever's on the video, let's clap. And if your video is off, let's use our reactions to give our applause to all our panel speakers. Thank you so much, Rashida, Miss Sing Sing, Darren, and Tina. All right. It comes to 2:30, we are going to end our session for today. So before I do anything, I would like to ask you guys, is there any questions in the ground that we would like to ask to any of our speakers? If not, I'm going to go with the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. This event will not be successful without the support from the RP alumni. Importantly, to all our 4 speakers, thank you so much for taking your time to come down, to be with us, to share with us your knowledge. Yes, indeed, it was a transferable skill to me either, because I'm not from the hospitality industry, but what you have shared could be helpful for me in my own industry that I'm doing today. With that, I would like to also share that any events that we do, we need to have our feedback. We need to hear your views. Your valuable feedback to this chat, and we'll be very happy to have you guys on board with us. If you have any question, you may always get in contact. Important to please use your LinkedIn profile, connect us, and we'll stay connected, and we will be there for you guys. All right, take care. Bye bye. See you guys soon in another webinar.